Right, how's it going? So today's video is about how to restore a dodgy sofa. Okay, so these are the dodgy sofas in question. We've got three of them. We've got another one somewhere else. So they've come from DFS. I think they cost about £1,000 each at the time. Maybe, no they weren't. Maybe they were more like 500 or 600. But they probably would cost you £1,000 now, I bet. Anyway, they're all right. They're in nice condition, but the trouble is that they've been going a bit sort of saggy, particularly here, because that's the one that gets used most of all. Okay, now the problem is the webbing underneath cuts into the foam. So I've found a solution to fix it. It's not difficult. I think it'll be useful to you if you want to fix your sofa relatively cheaply. Then give it another new lease of life. All right. Okay. Right. Well, the first job to do is to remove this black stuff on the bottom. We did start off trying to pick all the staples out. It's too much like hard work, and the only reason why I think the staples are there is to hide their sins of such a crap construction job inside. So just going to trim it off around the edge. Now, at first I thought the foam had disintegrated, but what's happening, well, I'll show you what's happening in a minute. Let's just get inside. Right, so what the problem is, not that the foam's disintegrating, it's that the webbing is cutting into the foam. Yeah, so the foam's actually still springy and okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this bottom bit out. Well, I don't know, obviously your sofa might be constructed different to this, but we're going to undo all these bolts. Yeah, there's 3 there, 4 there. So 7 in total. It's an M14 bolt, if that helps. Take all that out and then the base comes out, okay? Pause. Right, having undone those bolts, the bit you sit it on comes out and is loose. That's one of the most time consuming part of the job, probably. Undo all these staples, okay? Right, and the way I found best to do it is to get yourself a little tiny screwdriver, that one, little screwdriver, a hammer, and some side cutters. Okay, yeah, you've got that on. Kind of get underneath it a little bit. Then use these side cutters to kind of like roll it out like that. Yeah. So that'll take you 5 or 10 minutes to take them out. Now only take them out down to about here. Yeah. Right. So having pulled out the staples, it's just a simple case of folding that back like that. Yeah. The next job is, so because it's got like 3 cushions, the thing that creates that division is like a kind of a bar that runs down inside there. There you go, there's like a bar there, and it's pulled down by these strings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to detach the strings. The strings are held on with these little tags there. Yeah. So I'll take all those off. Basically what the plan is is to get some lino, which we got there. We got given that actually by a flooring shop. To be fair, we just spent a fortune having all new carpets everywhere. But it's just like, you know, would it fit? It's just like lino. Yeah, I sort of like picked the thickest one they had. And we're going to stick the lino down there between the webbing and the foam, right, to kind of like improve them a bit. We've got some foam which got on eBay. It's 20mm blue foam. It was meant to be the densest one, but it's not that dense, but I'm quite happy with it. We're just going to put that in there as well, just to improve the to improve it a little bit. This is the one we've done already, and it worked really well. It's much more comfortable now and more supportive than the old ones, because obviously all the foam is pushing through, and you're effectively losing the thickness of the foam. I think the other one, the third one, actually is even worse. So okay, I'll pick it up after I've taken those tabs out. Right, we've got a bit of vinyl, a bit of lino, and we've stuffed it underneath the cushions all the way down to the bottom, sitting on top of the webbing. Now the foam was stuck on to the webbing with a bit of glue, so just separated that. Yeah, that's fine. Next job then is to put the bit of foam on. Now the thing is, this foam I bought from eBay, it's about 15 quid a piece. They're 2.1 meters by 510mm, so 51 centimeters wide. They could have done with being a bit wider, to be honest, but what we decided to do was basically do a continuous length, but push it right up to the front, because the back of the sofa, this bit here, right, is underneath the cushion here, so you're not going to sit on that anyway, so we weren't too worried about that. So that blue foam that I've got, is under this area here, not towards the back, so it should be all right. It's, even with the foam in it, it's still a little bit baggy. Yeah. We'll just make clear that the foam we're going to put the foam in there. Yeah, so we're not actually going to change we're not going to change anything to do with this, the top of it, the shape of it. Just sort of pack it up and make it a bit firmer. Right, this bit's a little bit tricky. So we've got the foam in. So the next job is to try and pull those string things through. Okay, now so how I did it was I used to drill through the same places that they came through before, which you can see there and so on. Yeah. Then I've got a bit of wire. Now I've got this wire from tin of paint. Okay, it's the handle from tin of paint. Bent that into a tighter radius as I could to make a little hook. So what we're going to do is going to drill holes through the lino and through the webbing. We're going to poke that through the foam like that, and then we're going to catch onto those string loops. Okay, and then pull them back through. It's quite tricky to pull it back through the webbing, yeah, but I managed. And then you've got these things, which is what I took off. We're going to put those back through and hook them back on. There's 5 on each side. So we'll come back when I've done that. Okay, I trimmed off top of the lino with a sharp knife. So you can see now that the foam is going to be fully supported now on the webbing, and it won't be squeezing through. And although it's all kind of like falling apart in there, I believe that it won't make any difference when you sit on it, because it's still there and the foam is still, the foam is still kind of like foamy. Yeah, I mean, this is a cheap fix. The lino actually we got for nothing. The foam was 15 quid, so it's 15 quid a sofa to fix. We've already got a staple gun. Yeah, so it doesn't take long. It takes longer making a video and doing it. But once it's all back together again, hopefully we'll get another lease of life out of it, and probably save about £3,000 on buying a new one. All right. So this is how I did this bit. Get a bit of wire with a hook on it. To be honest with you, this is probably the most difficult bit of the whole job, but it's not that hard. So go through there, then get hold of your little string loop. There you go. There you go, that's that one done. So it's a case of stapling the fabric back on. This one's a lot more ratty, isn't it? Than the last one. So we're going to give it a good stretch and staple that back on now.
Yeah.
Right, so just bolting it back together now really. We've not got the benefit of a drill and the spanner. Do these top ones first and it pulls it up tight into the right place for the side ones to fit. So we're not going to bother putting that fabric back on the bottom because I think it's quite useful to be able to turn it up the other way and check out, see what's going on underneath, make sure everything's staying put.
So that those.
What's that? Oh yeah, and these bits here, yeah, so these bits are falling off, so we used strips of the lino and just screwed them on in place, just stop them falling off. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Bolt it up, go back together, turn around, and have a nice sit down. So here's the finished job. It's much firmer now, really much more comfortable, especially when you're trying to get up, and less backache and stuff. Yeah, I'm really pleased with the result. It's a pretty cheap fix, I think. Now, I was going to say actually, you know, I made it a bit more complicated than it needed to be. You could just use, you know, the string bits that you have to pull through with the wire and all that business. Yeah, you could avoid that just by putting just a strip of lino underneath each seat, either side of the string bits, and leave the string bits alone. And you don't have to do the foam bit. I just did that because I thought it would probably plump up the cushions a bit more and take some of the sagginess out of it, you know, which I think it did do. And like I say, that was not bad for 15 quid. So like, that's how you fix your sofa for 15 quid. Now I reckon that there's quite a lot of sofas that have got this problem and people get sick of them and then just buy a new one because they've gone all saggy. But it's not difficult, especially if you've got some help, like a video tutorial on how to do it. Just to fix them and keep them going, because there's like absolutely nothing wrong with the sofa apart from that. You know, the leather's not got any rips. Leather looks good as it ages as well. You know, it gets a bit of sort of patina to it, bit you know, bit of wear and tear, makes it look quite cool. Anyway, we're really pleased with the sofas, and now I think we'll get many more years of life out of them. Like one other thing, so you know, I was ringing round upholstery companies to find out how much they would charge to fix them, and I found them to be quite unhelpful. Nobody was really interested in trying to fix them. One guy said that he would replace all the foam for 300 quid. Another guy said it would be about the same, 300 quid. And I'm not against spending 300 quid. But as you can see, you don't need to replace the foam. You just need to support the foam. Yeah, so get yourself a bit of lino for nothing from the, or for a very small amount from a flooring shop. And I reckon you can fix it pretty easily. Right, well, good luck with that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to more videos. I intend to do more DIY videos of all types. I've just done a self-build. Many of you might know me from another channel that I've got, where I'm a bit more mischievous. But the reason why I've been quiet for the last 2 years is because I've been busy building a house for myself and my wife. So I've built a new kitchen and I've built loads of furniture around the house. Been a busy boy. I haven't been sitting around doing nothing. So subscribe to my channel and I'll start to show you around what I've done so far. Okay, thanks very much. See you again.